I think we can start, right? Yes, yes, yes. Um, Good morning, everybody. Um, it is my proud privilege and honor to introduce and welcome today Premi Mathew. Like as some of you might have heard her say, we were classmates in management school. B school, we were together. And then we went in our own different ways. And we used to, all of us in the same class, we still keep in touch. And then, uh, Premi is perhaps one of the girls, like I said, I know her from my college days till now. One of the bravest girls or ladies I've met in my life. Because, I know her when she was in college. She was like anybody, like you, any of you, a very pretty looking, silent girl who used to, out to the company and, work. And then when she joined us, she was a rank holder from the university, mind you. And then she joined us. And then after that, for her life started. Then she went to Dubai. She was teaching in a college. Then, real unfortunately, cancer struck. From there onwards is where I admire Premi. She had the courage to fight it, not only fight it, come out with flying colors after that, and then start two things, two programs like which she is going to explain, which is for the cancer detection and cancer awareness among adult women. And then, like I said, she is a management teacher, management professor, then a mother, grandmother, and entrepreneur, philanthropist, all rolled into one. And I am, when you go through, I don't know how many of went through her, details. She'll of course explain, but I will also say briefly. In 2011, she started this program, PY Protect Your Mom International. She will tell you how she chose the name and all. And then in, I think 1 or 2 years later, she started Hair for Hope India. And in 2011 and 12, she was nominated as the Emirates Woman Award, 11 and 12. And 2016, she won the Emirates Health Awards, which the details, of course, she will tell you. And she has been successfully running this event for a very long time. Premi, I would like to thank you in spite of all your, responsibilities as a homemaker, as well as a faculty member in a college. You took time to spend with us. I know this is a passion for you, and we are all there to hear you, help you, and our girls are willing to, give any kind of assistance. But their limitation. They live in a hostel, in a secluded, in a bubble life. So what is possible with them also? If any of them are interested, we will definitely be able to help you with that. With these words, Premi, I hand over to you because I don't want to steal your time. I know you have a lot of things to tell them. And listening is, we have 3 institutions. The principal of school, Anida, she just spoke to you. And then we have an education college where Dr. Ravi is the principal. He and his faculty members are also there. He's the only male faculty member in, the rest are all ladies. And then college is headed by Dr. Nasima, another very brilliant administrator as well as teacher. Her team is also here. They are the Arts and Science College where we have all UG and PG courses, MPhil, PhD, everything, whatnot, everything. And then you saw the girls, we have all these girls waiting to listen to you. Thank you. As well as we have got my management team, the hostel, superintendent, his wife, his daughter, so many others are also on this call. Thank you, Premi. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Matthew, for inviting me. And it's a real pleasure to have so many students and three institutions. I didn't know that. It's really good to have three institutions, head of the three institutions listening today, because this actually started off as a marketing project. 10 years ago, I used to teach marketing. So I thought instead of just giving them, mythical assignments, I thought they should do something practical. And that's how I started Protect Your Mom campaign. So I'm so happy to have faculty members from three colleges, as he said, three educational places to listen today, because this ultimately is going to be a marketing project, could be a marketing project for you, or a social media campaign project for you, or even a PhD assignment, because I'm looking for someone to co-author my paper on Hair for Hope India. So yes, it's got a lot of educational applications also, because it's actual application of the concept you learn in college. So yes, like Matthew introduced, I'm basically a breast cancer survivor. 10 years ago, I found this tiny little painless stone in my breast. And my husband is a doctor. So he said he knew it was cancer because he's a surgeon. He's not, he's an ENT actually, but he knew that it was cancer because, when they touch, they know it's cancer. So this is something I really want to emphasize. Even before my test results were out, you have to go for a test. They do a biopsy technically to see whether it's cancer. So he knew it was cancer, and even before the test results were out, we fixed the surgery because time is of essence when it deals with cancer. Every day is important, because what happens is cancer spreads rapidly, very, very fast. And it's like, if you put salt in your curry, if you remove the salt immediately, the curry may not be spoiled. But if you wait and it spreads all over the dish, the entire dish has to be thrown away, right? Because it's got too much of salt. And that's what happens with cancer. It just spreads so rapidly that even the best doctors can't help you. So that's why we're here today, because I'm here because I was lucky to find it early. And I never believed him because there was absolutely no pain and I could hardly feel the lump. It's like a stone. And I never believed it. But because I got timely treatment, and trust me, early detection is so important because you suffer much less. My entire treatment took about 6 months. 6 months for the surgery and 6 chemotherapy. Yes, I went through chemotherapy, 6 chemotherapy and surgery. They remove the stone first. They remove the cancer fast. Just like you remove that salty area with a spoon, they remove cancer because otherwise it spreads. But this is something I really want you to remember. If you remove it like that, your whole career is saved. Just like that, my entire body was saved probably because they removed it on time. So that's the importance of early detection. You suffer much less. So my treatment, including 6 chemotherapy and 1 surgery, took only about 6 months. Whereas I'll show you examples of my friends who suffered for even 10 years. She's still alive. And some of them lost the battle. A lot of them lost the battle because we were all together during the treatment and we know each other very well. And it really hurts to see, some people, just losing. So that's why we are here, because it's very important to find it early before it spreads. So now I made some slides. It's not really slides. It's just basically pictures so that, when you talk, pictures are much more powerful. So before we go into the pictures and the PowerPoint, there is a small video. As I said earlier, during chemo, the entire hair goes in 2 days flat. It just as if it's not connected to your head anymore. It just falls rapidly. So that's why I started this campaign called Hair for Hope India. And as I said in the beginning, I would like you to draw pictures and videos to make people aware of how horrible it is to lose hair, because I haven't really got more than one picture to tell the world how it feels. And you'll be seeing that picture. I'm sure you can do better because I know you're a very good artist. I specifically liked some of the posters you made. So we'll see the video now. So that's hair donation. Even a little girl can make a difference. Yes, you can play the video. We are having some problems with the sound, but it doesn't matter. And that's a boy. He's the president of the Manipal University, and he's also growing his hair. And that's how you can cut. You can just cut it at home. It's nothing complicated. Absolutely nothing complicated. So you tie your hair and just cut it. That's all. I'll explain the process later. And anybody can cut, including your husband. And that's my student giving it directly to a patient. So if anyone knows a cancer patient, that is the best gift you can give, because this lady, for example, now in India, the problem in society is so bad, I'm so sorry, that, she is one of the very few ladies who will come and tell the society that, yes, I'm a cancer patient. It is so difficult to find a cancer patient without hair, to go and tell the publicly that, she is a patient and this is how you feel when you lose your hair. So Pasna is one lady like that, and you'll find her on my page. And this is how you donate. You tie it up, you braid it, and you cut it. So that's, you'll find all these videos on my page, which is called Hair for Hope India. And as I told you, I need a lot of artists to help me there, because we haven't, we don't have many pictures to explain the whole thing. So we move on to the PowerPoint now. Now, PowerPoint is just pictures, basically, because I think pictures explain it better. And so 10 years ago, when I found that, my journey was pretty simple compared to a lot of others. Me and my daughter, we started a campaign called Protect Your Mom campaign. And this is a stolen picture. I'd like you to draw a better picture. So this is a stolen picture from the net, because we don't have any stuff even now. It's just me and a lot of children like you helping me to run this campaign. So we stole this picture from the net and we started this campaign because it explains the concept of protecting your mom. Because what happens is, in India or everywhere in the world, the mothers are too busy to take care of themselves. They might run if the child has a cough to the doctor, but even if they're almost on the verge of collapsing, they wouldn't go to the doctor because they're too busy to do that. So that's why this campaign was started, because we want the children like you to pester your mom, to check for the early signs, because only you are powerful enough to do that. Even if I bring a doctor here, invariably I have a doctor also to talk. But then what happens is, mothers think that in India, the problem is not just India, all the entire Asian culture, or even the whole world thinks that it's all, whatever is to happen will happen. That's what we think. I also used to think that it's fate and nothing can be done. I didn't have any family history. I was not that old also. This is 10 years ago. So at that time I was much younger. And I never thought cancer will happen to me, because I thought it is something that happens to only old people and, things like that. So it was a shock for me to realize that it can happen to anyone without any family history and all that. So, and I don't drink, I don't smoke. So it came as a massive shock for me to find that I'm actually down with cancer. So that is the whole concept. You protect your mom, pester her to do it. And it's something you can do at home, which is something I realized only when I was diagnosed, because I thought you needed a mammogram to find cancer, but it's not like that. You can even find breast cancer at home, which is something which I really realized only after my cancer. I mean, it is diagnosed as cancer. So then I wondered why nobody is creating awareness about self-exam. Because if it's so simple to find breast cancer on your own, at home, why doesn't ladies do it? And in the entire Eastern world, especially in India, I doubt whether many mothers know how to do it. And that's why this whole campaign was started. So let's move to the slides now. It doesn't matter. We'll move on to the slides. And as I said, you can come out with better pictures to show the campaign. Is the PowerPoint working? Please move back to the PowerPoint. So you can have a better picture to depict the campaign, because I still don't have a good picture to show the whole campaign in one picture. So that picture, as I said, is actually from the net. So I would love to have a better picture to show what the whole campaign is all about, that you, children, can protect your mother from a certain death, from a lot of suffering. And that's what this whole campaign is all about. Move on to the next slide, please. As I said earlier, mine was stage 2. Stage 2 means cancer hasn't spread too much. As you can see, when you reach stage 4, it means that the entire body is it's spread over the entire body. So what happens is the chances of survival goes down. So in the first case, in my case, the survival rate is pretty high. But as it spreads and spreads all over the body, I'm sure all of you would have lost someone to cancer. And that's because of this reason. It spreads so rapidly around the body. Now, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going into the medical part of it. But what you should remember is that it spreads. And that's why it's important to find it early. Go on to the next one, please. So in India, there's a perception that once you get cancer, you're dead. I mean, that's a perception even I thought. You get cancer, you die. But this is not the way it should be. I mean, this is not the way, in fact. So you can see an 82-year-old lady running a marathon, and you can see me also sitting right here. So cancer is not a death sentence. It's something I want to really emphasize here. Unlike our perception. Go on to the next one, please. Next slide. Okay. So these are the signs. So as I said, in my case, it was a tiny little painless stone in the breast. It could be other symptoms, and I'll be sending the slide to all of you so that you can also make your mother check. It's a simple process of sitting with your mother, go to Google, and I know you know how to do that. Search for how to do a breast self-exam, and you'll find how to do it. These are the signs, and the most important symptom is, as I said, a lump in the breast, which is like a tiny little stone. Next slide. So imagine, now this is the only way I can show it because our culture again is bad, because you can't talk about breast, you can't talk about cancer because nobody's interested. So this is how I put it, and you can do a better job because you're all very good artists. So imagine your mother is making atta, and your little brother, mischievous one, was playing with a stone or something, and it goes into the atta. How will you find this? So you will need it, right? That's how you should check for this tiny little stone. And that's the best way I could express it. Now, you are very good artists. If you can put it in a better way. So this is basically how you check for this lump, the stone. But Google will show you videos and all that. This is the simplest way in which I could express it because, you know, of all the cultural problems we have, we can't show breast, we can't talk about breast, you can't, you know, all those things. Go on to the next one, please. And this is just to dispel the notion that cancer is a death sentence. We had 7 ladies here, Indian ladies, because what happens is the Westerners are very okay with, you know, going on stage and saying they're cancer patients, but it's very difficult to find Indian ladies to face the media and say that, yes, I'm a cancer patient, because there is a lot of stigma. And even I was very reluctant until recently, because what happens is, what will happen to my daughter? I mean, would she get married if you go around saying you're a cancer patient? These are the problems we have in society. So it's very difficult to get cancer patients to say that they are cancer patients. But we managed to get 7 Indian ladies. And I had a similar show in Cochin, which is even more traditional. Cochin is much more traditional than all the rest of India, probably. But we had 5 ladies, even in Cochin, hitting the ramp and saying that, yes, I've beaten cancer, which is a remarkable thing for them to do. Next slide, please. That's another friend of mine. She's Vanya. She was the first to support me. So initially, I couldn't find any Indian to go on stage and talk about breast cancer because of our culture. So she's Vanya. She was happy to be my brand ambassador, and her own daughter was the first brand ambassador I had. Again, a stage 2 survivor. And she was my model, I would say. Next one. She's Linda. Again, she did a mammogram. Now, abroad, what happens is they have to do a mammogram after 40. So what happens with mammogram is that once you do a mammogram, you can find it at very early stage. So self-exam is something you have to do every month. But mammogram is also done abroad because they're very particular about these things. In India, I don't think many people go for mammogram. But it's important to do it after 40 just to check whether everything is okay, and your doctor will let. The most important thing you can do at home, which doesn't cost even 1 rupee, is to do a self-exam. And your mother is not going to do it without your help. So you have to pester her to do it. Because even if you do a mammogram every month, every year, a mammogram is usually done year-wise. What happens is the lump can come in October, and your mammogram may be due only in, much later. So earlier you detect the lump, the better it is for you. Next one. And that's Frida. I'm very proud of her because she's a stage 4 survivor. Stage 4, as I said, the moment you hear stage 4 itself, you die mentally because cancer's, it's a horrible diagnosis. So this lady is so awesome that even after stage 4 and a lot of chemotherapy, she's still under treatment, by the way. 10 years ago, she was detected. She's my very close friend. And you should see a story on my page. I have the stories of 25 survivors on the page, Protect Your Mom campaign, and all of them are so amazing. They've all beaten cancer. So if your mother's scared and refuses to do it, tell her that everybody is alive. What's your problem? And it's not like cancer is the end of the world. And show her this stories because they are very amazing. Especially Frida is my favorite. The way she speaks is so powerful. Next one, please. And that's again Angela. As you can see, she looks beautiful without hair. But for a lot of ladies, it's very difficult to face society without hair. And I was, totally messed up because you can't. I mean, when you don't have hair, you don't feel like, you feel like crawling into some hole and staying there. So that's why I want to help with the other campaign also. Next one, please. And this, I don't know whether it's applicable to you, but a lot of children nowadays eat a lot of junk food like sausages and bacon and all those things, fries and all those things. That really not a good idea. It's not good for any disease. Forget cancer. And as you know, fresh vegetables, especially in India, we use a lot of garlic and tomato and all, which are very good. So that's something which may not be much applicable. We move on to the next one. And of course, exercise is also important for any disease. So what I do is, now, as I said, we have only children running this campaign as young as 8. So there was this boy who was the first to support me. His name is Aditya. He was a DPS, Delhi Private School. And he spoke to his teacher. That's what the students are supposed to do. They speak to the teacher and they converted the entire art class into a PYM class. So what they did was every child, that is 3,000 students, took home a message that day, handwritten message with art, their own art. They took home a message saying that, you're important to us, the mother is important, and she needs to check for the early signs. That's a simple message they took home, but it is very powerful. Much more powerful than a doctor's message because no mother will throw it away. I have mothers who kept it for years on their refrigerator and all that as a constant reminder of breast cancer. So that's why I feel this is much more powerful than any other, even the doctor's message or flyers that you get from hospital. It may not really reach home. Go to the next one, please. And this is a poster like you did a poster competition back in 10 years ago. This contest is about 10 years old, actually. So an 8-year-old drew this. 1 in 8 women ends up with breast cancer. That is the statistics. So you can imagine everyone is at risk, and we have to be careful. We need to be vigilant because you don't want your mother to be stolen away by cancer. Next one. So tell your mother, she might tell you, oh, cancer is happening only to old people and all those things. Tell her it's 1 in 8 ladies and anyone is at risk. And there's nothing to worry because Premi Mathew is alive. And this is another artwork I got a student to do, and she's done a fascinating work. This is how your family is. Your mother is the heart of it. And if something happens to the mother, the entire family gets shattered. And that's what the artist has depicted. And are urging mothers to, be careful because they are breaking the heart of a lot of children there. So I would love you to keep drawing. Give it to Matthew. He'll send it to me. And we need to create awareness in your own language. It could be in your own language also, because India is a huge country and we are looking at only, and I'm so happy that this is the first PYM event in Chennai. We had a lot of hair donation events. So I must thank Matthew for bringing me Tamil Nadu for the first time. Move on to the next one, please. Yeah, so this is the only artwork I have. One of the best paintings I got. Somebody sent it to me. So this shows the the agony of a lady who loses hair. It's much worse than this, by the way, because you lose it in 2 days flat. It's not a joke. And that's the next picture is from the net, actually. That's the best picture I could find to show. That's how I started in 10 years ago. And he is my nephew, Dylan. He is from New Jersey, America. So when he came to India, I found him with long hair, and I was confused because I knew my cousin had only boys. So I thought it was or whatever. And then his mother told me that he's actually doing his hair for to donate hair, and that's something that I really had to do something about, because I am an MBA and I used to teach marketing, and if I can't sell hair donation, what is the whole purpose, I thought. So that's how I started this Hair for Hope India, because if a 6-year-old can do so much, I should also do something. And today it's a massive campaign. We have hair donation events all over India, in fact, lots of events. And it's all because of this small boy. And in Dubai, we have some 10 schools where boys are growing hair, little boys. And the youngest boy is only 2 years old. So he's hopefully getting into the Guinness Book. I'm trying to get him because he's, it's a unique thing for a boy to grow hair like that. Next slide, please. So that's Dylan. And this is how you donate hair. 12 inches. It should be shampooed dry. Dry is very important because otherwise it will get fungus, and it has to be very, very dry. And in India, we have a problem with oil. So please don't oil it. And I usually have a live hair donation in my events. But this time I thought you could have the next event in, first event in Coimbatore, because I don't think I've had it though. So you could have a small event. It could be just one person donating 12 inches with the mother's permission. Mother's permission is very important. And in front of the college, in front of the entire college, all 3 institutions. So that, people know, like in summer, people just throw away hair. But this hair can give a new lease of life because we make wigs with it, and it's given free to cancer patients. So hair is the best gift you can ever give a cancer patient. And that's what this is all about. Hair for Hope India is my campaign for that. Next slide, please. She's Upasana again. You saw her in the video. So what we did was, during COVID, it became a big problem last year. So what we did was, we had 5 donors in Delhi itself. I found 5 donors, and she's from Delhi. So they gave it to her directly. That's another thing you can do. But you need a wig maker to make a wig. So that's one alternative we have. And in Madras, Chennai is the center for wig making. So it's not a problem to find a wig maker. I can help you with that also. So what happens is, a wig is very expensive. For example, I paid something like 25,000 rupees for my wig. And that's something not many people can afford, especially because chemotherapy is very expensive. So your hair, which you throw away, can give life to a chemo patient, which is something not many people know. So I want you to have a small event. It could be just one person donating live on a platform like this, so that everybody knows about hair donation. And as I said, today we have boys growing hair, and that's a big process, because here it's very hot and they can't play, all those problems are there, but still they manage to grow their hair. Next one, please. She's Shalini. As I said, when I started 10 years ago, no Indian lady would go on camera, because I wanted the TV to show how, people feel without hair. So Shalini was the only person who supported me 10 years ago. And she came on TV and said, how a woman feels without hair. Because people didn't understand why wig, all those things. There's a new concept those days. And people didn't know anything about cancer. And again, I wanted to emphasize that she was one of the patients along with me who did a chemo with me. And she passed away because, cancer spread all over the body. So she's an amazing woman with a son, and she went through pure hell because, cancer, she had to undergo chemo for 8 years, and finally she passed away. So that's how tough it is if you find it late. Next one, please. So we have volunteers like her. She's Simran, one of my first in 10 years ago. Care for Hope India was launched in India only after 2 years after we started here. So Simran is one of my first. And what you can do is, when next time you go for a haircut, or even if you cut at home, you can say that, you can tell the salon how to cut it, because it has to be dry, it has to be tied, it has to be, all those things you need to tell them. And otherwise it goes to the bin. So that's something anybody can do. Even your friends outside the college, tell them how to cut so that, it doesn't go into the bin, because the hair you throw away means a lot to a chemo patient. It can bring her back to life, because when you're down without hair, you feel like, crawling into a hole, and, you lose the will to survive, you lose the will to live. So your hair is not just hair, it's a will to live which you're giving. Next one, please. So this is what I do. I basically organize events. I want more posters, more skits, more dances. You'll find a lot of posters and skits and dances on Protect Your Mom page on Facebook. And the faculty members from the colleges, I would urge you to make it a live project, make them do advertisements for hair donation, because no one has designed an ad for hair donation. No one has designed an ad for self-examination. It could be a live project, and instead of, just mythical projects. Next one, please. So, yeah, again, those are some of my events all over India. We've had events all over India, and it's run entirely by children. Next one, please. These are three of my favorite children. Number one is Aditya. He is only 8 when he started. And what's special about him is that he makes his mother check for the signs on his birthday. That is the mother's birthday present to him. And he ensures that she does it, because he lost his grandmother to cancer. So he's very particular that cancer doesn't steal his mother away. So he is my favorite. He's been with me for 10 years now. He still has events. And what's special about him is that he won 60,000 dirhams. That is something like, I don't know how many, a lot of lakhs, maybe about a lot of lakhs. And he donated the entire money to charity. So 60,000 into 20, that much of money, he donated his own prize money to charity. That's why he's so special. And the next one is Kartika in pink. She's one of my volunteers. She cut the hair for the other kid, who's only 4 years old. And the last one is Brent. Brent is also my brand ambassador, who did an event in Kenya. So my brand ambassadors are all very young. All of them are 8 years old, as you can see. So which means anybody can be my brand ambassador. And their job is to host an event in the school, create awareness about hair donation. Because if you tell an adult how to cut, they will have a lot of doubts. You tell a 10-year-old how to cut, she has no doubts. She'll go and do exactly what I tell them. So Kartika is one of my, special brand ambassadors, outstanding brand ambassadors. Next one, please. So that's my page. I need a better picture there. So if you could decide, you could send it to me. This is an old one, because it's become a lot of work now, so I haven't updated it. So that's Hair for Hope India page on Facebook, and that's a logo. Next one, please. Okay, so these are the lessons I learned from cancer. As I said, we have initially, when I started, everybody was against it, and I myself didn't know what I was doing, because what do I do with the hair? For example, if I start collecting hair, what do I do with the hair? I don't know what I was doing at all. But the thing is, if you follow your heart, I knew I had to save the hair from the bin. That's something I had to do, because you can't leave it in the bin. So you need to follow your heart, even if the whole world is against you. And the whole world was against me because imagine an MBA professor running after waist hair. It was not, the society is entirely against you. So that's why I said ignore the society, because it was very undignified. And on top of it, my father is the chief engineer, so he couldn't digest, he still can't digest the fact that his daughter is running after hair. So that's something you have to do. And a lot of people said, nothing will happen. What will you do with the hair? Where will you store it? And I didn't know it also. But the fact is, somehow it all works. I mean, the universe conspires for you. I do not believe in it. So somehow it all worked out. Initially, I really didn't know what I was going to do with the hair. But then out of nowhere, I had a sponsor who said he'll sponsor the first 30 weeks. His name is Dr. Mupin. I hardly know him. But when he read the articles in the paper, he came and told me that he will sponsor the first 30 wigs. That's about 1 lakh, because we need to pay the wig maker for the wig. So out of nowhere, I got a sponsor. And the first wig was done in 6 months. Unbelievable, because I never thought we'll reach so far. My only intention was to save it and send it to Patty in beautiful lengths, which is there in US. So the thing is, sometimes you don't have to, worry about society. Yeah, the naysayers, everybody will say no. In fact, everybody said no. How can pester beat cancer is another question. I mean, Protect Your Mom is about children making their mothers pester them to search for the early signs. But how can pester power beat cancer? It's another thing. So no one really believed it. But today, as you can see, I have so many institutions today listening to me. So anything is possible is what I feel. If you're persistent. So persistence, as you know, is the most important thing. It took me 2 years after I started the campaign here. It took me 2 years to put it in India. And my critics told me that Indians will never part with their hair, because in India, length of hair is a measure of a woman's beauty. So how can people, cut their hair and give it to a stranger? It doesn't work out, they said. But then today, I have boys, a lot of boys you'll see on my page, growing their hair just to donate. So I think nothing is impossible if you're very persistent. And of course, I think you should not give up. That's the most important thing. Next one, please. Next slide. So as I said, nothing is impossible. 10 years ago, I was a mess, no hair, no lashes. No, I lost my job also. So I would say that nothing is impossible if you're really, really, really focused on it. You don't need money. As I said, I haven't spent even 1 dirham on this particular campaign. It's just sheer hard work. Yes, I spend my time on it. Maybe the opportunity cost is there, like Matthew would say. But the point is, I haven't spent even one. I mean, in terms of money, I haven't spent. I don't have any staff. And I don't pay Facebook also, because nowadays you have to pay Facebook to, uh, make them publish anything which you put there. But nothing is impossible if you really, really are focused. So don't give up on your dreams. And when I was down with cancer, I used to ask, like any other patient, why me and all that. But looking back and connecting the dots, as Steve Jobs said, I feel it is all for a purpose, because if I didn't have cancer, I wouldn't have started this. And if I'm proud of one thing in my life, it is Hair for Hope India and UAE. So never give up and follow your dreams. And if you want, I can help you all the way. And thank you so much, Matthew, for inviting me. We'll just see one more video before we conclude. So you can ask questions after the video.
And meanwhile, if anybody want, they can put it in chat box also questions. Some of the
Matthew, you would have to ask me the question.
Yeah, I will read it out for you, which is in the chat boxes. And the senior faculty, principals and all can open their videos and ask after this video.
So I thought the best way I can help them is to donate my hair. It's just inspiring. जाने तुझे देंगे नहीं, जाने तुझे देंगे नहीं.
And you've done a fascinating job with the ones which you made during the contest. And congratulations once again for coming out with such beautiful posters. And you can do a very good event, that's what I hope, and a hair donation event also. Thank you so much, Mathew, for inviting.
If anybody, seniors would like, they can open their video, audio and ask questions while the girls post questions in case questions are there. Anita, Nasima, Devi, or any other senior faculty members or junior faculty members?
I think it's pretty simple because hair donation is pretty simple, and I hope all of you would go home.
Yeah, Premi, one girl has asked, how did you overcome your obstacles during the cancer time?
Well, you have to do it, so you do it. So I guess a lot of prayers helped and a lot of friends helped. Oh, okay, that's something I wanted to talk about. In fact, I forgot. So what I do, one of my dream projects which didn't work out is this. It's called Chemo Buddies, which means when your friend is down with cancer, you go with her to the ward, because during cancer you need somebody with you. And it's unlike in India. India had a whole family with me for chemotherapy, but in Dubai everybody's working, and my daughter was studying abroad and I didn't want to disturb her education. So what happens is there's nobody to go with the patient. So one of my dream projects which hasn't worked out is what is called Chemo Buddies. It is there abroad, which means somebody goes with the patient. So I had this friend to come with me, to take me to hospital, to take me for tests, which really, really helped me a lot. And of course, a lot of prayers, all those things really help. And of course, you don't have any alternative but to fight. So you fight because you have to fight. So cancer doesn't give you much chance like that.
Thank you, Premi. It was a very good session. I could just connect like how you people, how you were connected with your friends. No, recently I had a friend who had a bone cancer. She was in the 4th stage, and we all friends every time we used to go and sit for at least for one chemotherapy. So we were going in cycles. This time, 2 friends will go next month. Next time when she goes for the next chemotherapy, other 2 friends will join. So that is how we were just giving support and encouragement to her. And thank God she has survived now, and she's so good, and she's settled in Kenya now. And I can see, like you were saying, no, when a girl loses her hair, the trauma that she faces and all. Literally, we saw all those things, and till now we are all supporting her, and now she's so good, and she's supporting so many people around. That's what I wanted to share. And regarding this hair donation also, in future, definitely if we have to do such things, and if we have to motivate all our students, definitely from my side I will go for such thing.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And as I said, it's so simple.
Incidentally, Anita is the principal of the school.
Perfect. So I'd like you to spread the word in Coimbatore also, and please get into the newspapers, because what happens is when you do an event, it should reach all the other colleges so that they also do an event, so that we don't let any hair go into the bin. That's the whole purpose. In fact, Chennai, we had a lot of events. Hair donation is very popular. That's why I didn't think of hosting an event today, because Chennai, the hair donation is very, very common.
But what we do is some of the salons, they have taken this. Suppose if we go for a haircut and all, if we say, definitely they are sending this as for making wigs and all. That's what I have heard from my friends. But I haven't gone to any salon because I don't have much hair at all. But I have heard from my friends. Suppose if we say to the people there, they are doing that.
Okay, that is something I have to warn you about, because a lot of when I started 10 years ago, nobody knew about hair donation. But now what's happening is a lot of salons are cheating people in the name of cancer, collecting hair and then selling hair. So please be very careful. If at all anybody wants to donate, send it only through Hair for Hope India, because a lot of frauds have sprung up. You know, India. I mean, like in any other donation, even organ donation is much worse. But in the case of hair donation, there is a lot of frauds happening. So please be careful, and please follow the instructions in Hair for Hope India, because I know a lot of people are cheating in the name of cancer, and it's so horrible to let it happen. So please create awareness about that also. Please don't send it to any salon, for that matter.
Premi, a few more questions.
Yes.
One is they're saying, cancer treatment is very expensive. Is there any possibility for a middle class family to deal with it? Are you aware of any other schemes or anything to deal with it?
I think the regional cancer centers, for example, I don't know about Tamil Nadu, but in Kerala we have regional cancer centers. I think it's almost free, highly subsidized. So don't worry about it. I think, especially in Kerala, I know the government is doing a lot for cancer patients. It's extremely cheap, is what I understand. I don't know much about Tamil Nadu, so you can check up. There are regional cancer centers which has the best doctors also, and they're very, very cheap. So don't worry about the expense. Like, if you, as I said, expenses go up if you delay it.
Okay, then the next question is there any link between menopause and breast cancer?
I'm not a doctor, so I don't want to comment on it, but we have 20-year-olds also getting cancer. Cancer is not going by only age. Pretty young, and a lot of them are 1 year. You saw the pictures. They were all much younger, very young, in fact. So menopause, I don't think has a connection, but I'm not a doctor. I don't want to comment on that.
Any questions? Yeah, there's Dr. Nasima. She is a principal of the Arts College.
Hi, doctor.
So, hi, Ms. Premi. It was an eye-opener session for all of us, I should say, because I didn't know that there was so much pain behind all this. And I do know there are some friends of mine also who underwent it, but they all recovered. It was at a small age. One of my friend's kid also suffered, but he came over. But when I heard about the hair donations and the hair falls which happens due to this, it's really a painful one, and we would definitely support on that. My question is like, do any foods help in combating this breast cancer? Or
I think I showed some pictures during the presentation. They say there is some noni fruit which is supposed to be very good. They say jackfruit is good for cancer, but I'm not a doctor. I don't want to really comment on the food. But basically, all junk food out and all fresh natural food in. Garlic is good. Lime is good. Noni fruit is good, is what they say. And generally, fruits and vegetables are better than junk food generally. So that's why we could have more posters, more especially about hair donation. There is not a single advertisement. So your students could be the first to design an ad for it, in fact.
Okay. And literally they say even the fruits and vegetables, because of the pesticides which is actually there in the fruits and vegetables, it also causes cancer, right? So what do we do about it? Like, we are also scared to have that food. Huh?
They say grow at home, organic. Even in Dubai, we have a lot of houses where we grow a lot of fruits and vegetables. We have a ripe market every month, every week, wherein the people who produce at home can go and sell it there. Organic is very much in. So maybe we can have a terrace garden like you saw in movies. Everybody can grow something on the terrace, and possible, but I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Miss Premi. It was a beautiful session. It was really, like we had so much of thoughts put into it. We will definitely support this. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Hi, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am. I'm Pungodi from Department of Zoology, ma'am. Ma'am, could you hear me,
Morning.
ma'am? Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Nice
yes,
to
I can hear
see.
you.
Yes, ma'am. We are very happy to see good people like you working worldwide for cancer people, ma'am. So very happy to interact with you, ma'am. And actually, nowadays, the cancer has become as one of the leading cause of death worldwide because there are some very much unavoidable reasons like hereditary. And as ma'am Nazima ma'am said, the whatever the food we are eating is being adulterated with pesticides and insecticides, and many things are unavoidable. And the one concept I would like to add on to what ma'am has asked, ma'am. So we can have a food as medicines, ma'am. Actually, instead of having more of medicines and other chemotherapy, we can have because in our food what we eat, we have a turmeric, pepper. All these contain many anti-cancer compounds, ma'am. So I would like to give the concept for our students that whatever food we are eating, we have to take it as medicines. That is, we have green vegetables. All the pigments in it have anti-cancer property, and we have mostly the colored foods. What we have, beetroot, carrot. So whatever the color pigments in it has anti-cancer compound, ma'am. Actually, I'm grateful. I would like to introduce me as the student of Dr. Nazima, ma'am. I'm doing my PhD under her, ma'am. So we are working on the concept of herbal medicine.
Perfect, perfect. In fact, you could have the students to do a contest again, because last time it was a sudden idea, and you can have a college-wide, school-wide, a contest with dances, songs. That's I just showed you one event we had in Sharjah. You'll find a lot of events like that on the page.
Sure.
With posters, everything.
Sure, ma'am. We'll create awareness among the students about the importance of all the natural things what is available to us, which has that anti-cancer property. And we are very yes, ma'am. Yeah. And I congratulate.
In fact,
yes, yeah, ma'am. Yeah.
In fact, one of my schools here, I was surprised to find a huge garden, and it's run entirely by the students. It's beautiful. They have very little space because in Dubai it's very expensive. But within the limited space, they had these terrace gardens. The vertical gardens. I think you might know the vertical garden. Very limited space, but the students were tending to it, and they learn a lot more from this garden than from the books, because they see the the vegetables growing. They learn a lot of things from that, and I can probably send you the video through Mathew, because it was an eye opener for me too, because when children are actually growing things in the school, they do it at home also then, and it spreads into the society, and that could also prevent cancer and all these diseases also to a great extent.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Since
we have one question here, sir.
Yeah, sorry.
We have one question there. Can we donate gray hair?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Correct. But Premi, incidentally, I was just wondering. See, now since Dr. Naseem has asked, see, if you dye your hair before cutting, and then donate, then it will stay, black, no? I think
actually, some wig makers also like white hair, because those old ladies who don't have with white hair might like it's actually, that's why I said you have to be very so you have to be very careful. Yeah, you have to be very careful when you donate, because it might end up as a hair extension in UK, where they sell it for probably a lot of pounds. So you have to be very careful that it goes to the right people, because a lot of things are happening in India. I'm so sorry to say that everywhere.
Premi,
everywhere.
See, now our institute, as you know, world over, we are also closed since last 1 year and 3 or 4 months. This might continue another, So, but earlier we used to have such lovely events, and our girls are very good in flash mobs. So we can definitely take it up, provided once everything opens up next year onwards or so. We'll be one of the best supporters in Coimbatore. We will definitely be, help you and definitely do it. And
Thank you so much.
we also understood that, as you rightly said, that hair which is being donated, unless and until it goes to the, not to the right people, they make a commercial proposition out of it, make wigs and sell it. I know. How much, incidentally, I would just like to know, if you buy a natural hair wig, how much does it cost in India? So that
I
people,
paid 25,000. I paid 25,000 10 years ago. I don't know
Okay.
the current prices, but even in India, it's very expensive. It's something like a dream for a cancer patient to own a wig with natural hair. And I forgot to add this thing: you get synthetic wigs for 500 rupees also. But the difference is that, for a person who uses it regularly, you can't use a synthetic wig, you can't wash it. It's very uncomfortable. It could be itchy. So once in a while, a synthetic wig is fine. So that's why I would like you to, even if you can't donate a real wig, if you can donate a synthetic wig for 500 rupees also, it can help a cancer patient. In fact, yesterday this nurse at Dubai hospital was telling me that, a lot of patients, they don't have eyebrows and they don't know what to do. And they might feel better if your students go and just draw eyebrows for them, make the, do some little makeup to make them look good. Because when you look horrible, I was looking horrible, you don't feel like fighting cancer. So go with the 500 rupees wig, invest on a 500 rupees wig, and get the students to go to the chemo ward after COVID, of course. Help them look good. It could be just a session to make them look good. And you can see the tears of joy in their eyes. I mean, it's like a beautiful experience for the children. And I don't think they will ever forget it also. There are good artists there. All they have to do is an eyebrow, which is not a big deal for them. And for a cancer patient, to look good, to look human again, it's like a dream. And that's something your children can do again.
Thank you, Premi. I think we are now done with the questions as well as, unless and until, no, there is no questions in the chat box also. Thank you. I know Premi, and, in fact, I also took some of your time also. But it was a very nice and informative session for all of us here. And it was great inspiration also for people fighting cancer. We will definitely, as I was suggesting, we'll definitely help you in doing these programs once it opens up. Otherwise, it becomes difficult. Then we have a lot of day scholars also, about 1,200 day scholars coming in. So we'll definitely expand this project. I know the principals are listening, So we will try to expand it and then make it as a campaign. The campaign will start from within, and the donors will come from outside. We can definitely do that for you. And it really helped because our campus is 100% girls campus.
Perfect.
And even in the Mandarin, and also there are very few men, except one of the rare thing. People are like me, one or two, Dr. Evi, me, and a few others. Anyway, thank you so much for your time. Wonderful it was. And as always, Premi, it was very nice catching up with you, either on this session or on a personal note. Give my regards to your daughter, granddaughter, and your family, all with all the best from each one of us here. We would like to say once again thank you and sign in. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the excellent drawings and paintings you sent. And at such short notice, you did very well. So thank you so much for that. And I know a lot of you won. I think 5 of you won, right?
Yes.
Yes. So congratulations. And I'm giving you more work today because I have one more campaign called Hair for Hope India, which is about hair donation. 10 years ago, I didn't have hair at all. And you know how a girl feels when you don't have hair. So I want you to draw pictures of that also, because I don't have any staff, unlike Mathew there. I work alone with students as young as 8. So I would like you to capture the emotion when a woman loses all the hair in one day flat. It takes only 2 days for the entire hair to go. And that is something no artist has captured. And you're very good artists, as I can see from the entries you sent. So please keep supporting me. And this is not really a contest. This is about creating awareness about hair donation and protecting your mother. So whenever you feel like drawing, please draw and give it to Mathew. He's my classmate. He'll send it back to me, and it'll be very, very useful to create awareness about an important cause like hair donation also. So thank you once again for the excellent entries I received from you.